Let's see what we got. What we got inside Japan's worst tiny apartments.
This is
I like
Japan's
shit like
craziest
this.
apartment, hands down.
Might end up doing a lot
I
more
usually like to
this.
jump right inside, but you have to see this building from the outside to truly appreciate it at scale. Because this here, that is the entire building. That's the whole thing. It is 5 floors of triangular goodness. It's
How?
essentially like living in a Toblerone bar. And just for a little bit of perspective, here is the width of the building's edge contrasted against me. It is quite a sight to see. Let's head inside and take a peek because it's not just a triangle from the outside, and it has a handful of small problems aside from the shape that make it a massive challenge to live in. The area is beautiful, by the way. It's at this 5-point crossing in the Nerima area of Tokyo, but our first major challenge today is going to be this stairwell. Aside from the lack of vertical clearance and proper width to be able to get through here, the stairs themselves are actually incredibly narrow and shallow, and I've got to hold on to this center pole basically the entire time I'm going up just for safety. And amazingly, every single unit here is occupied except for the one that we're checking out today. I have been waiting a year for this, and a real estate friend of mine who runs a YouTube channel of his own, I'll link it, hooked me up with the keys today, so huge gratitude. Wow. Okay, so there's just about enough space to take off my shoes. There it opens into a kitchen area, and I have questions about the shower area here. Mostly on account of this door height, but let's take a peek. So the door doesn't open.
That shit smaller than them little RVs that they be living in.
I close the door. Okay. Close the door, and I basically take up the
It's doable. I mean, for as long as you can stand in it, move your arm, do what you need to do.
entire space.
That's actually not a bad shower
It's all about the price.
space. It's pretty much got everything that you need. It's got a shower right here, and it's got a bath that I'm really wondering if I would even fit in. Okay, so curiosity's getting the better of me, and I have to know if I would fit in the bath, and that is actually not a bad bath. I could do that. Do you think you could? The hermit I stayed with in the mountains had a smaller bath than this. Then he had an entire house to himself, and as an added bonus, you've got a window. Then, no matter how small your place is, a bath with a window is always nice, and there's a little...
How small that bitch is from the outside.
Can you call this a kitchen space? Barely enough space to stand here, but you have a tiny sink with no counter, a single induction heater. This little fridge here, if you're lucky, might just be big enough to fit a single iPhone. It fits. We'll talk about this magical little device in a second, but the room itself does not look like this. It doesn't look like this either, or this, or even this. And punching the lens in only makes it smaller and worse. The only way to really understand this place is to look at it from above. My hands can touch both sides. I have seen pictures of this place, but nothing compares to seeing this in person and just how tiny this room is. For perspective, if I were to be in here wearing my backpack, or if there were a sofa, there would barely be enough space to fit one.
I'm talking about a sofa and a bed and whoop-de-whoop. Boy, you can't even fit none of that in there. How is you living in that? What you put in there? I guess all bean bags. Put a little bean bag right there, a little table.
Maybe 2 more people. What are the measurements? Now the floor plan for this says that you're getting over 11 square meters, but I'm wondering how much space do you really have? Front to back, side to side, the widest space that you're getting in any direction is just over 2.5 meters. But it makes me wonder where I would put anything. Where would you put anything? Since we're in Japan, for example, instead of a bed, you'd most likely be using a futon, and then you would store it in this closet here. But do you really even need the closet? Or do you feel it's just taking up valuable space in the apartment? It does have...
Well, you got a kid, man. You put a little mat in there. That's another bedroom right there.
Hanging rack so you can hang clothes on it and whatnot.
Like that episode on Bill Cosby when they went in that little RV thing and it was pulling all these. Nah, that's the bedroom right there. Y'all probably too young to know.
Minor amenities that you would need. On this side of the room, you have a hookup for TV reception, but if you want to plug it in, the plug for some reason is on the other side of the room, and the room gives you a total of 2 whole plugs, so you could plug 2 things in if you want to. And there's a hookup for telephone and internet here that should never be touched, so we're gonna put that back, and we'll We'll pretend
break
that
it, you buy it.
we'll pretend that
Broke it.
that's fine. And as pretty as it looks, none of the brick here is real. These are sponge bricks from the dollar store, and if you look real carefully,
Damn,
this
they
is
were
actually
fully-
brick wallpaper. But you also do have an in-window air conditioner. This style of air conditioner is fairly rare in Japan. They're usually mounted up top, and this here is a hookup for fiber optics. So you've got all the internet you would need. Mind you, in Japan, Wi-Fi modules are everywhere. The biggest problem with this place so far is just the noise. It's actually taken me a really long time to shoot this because this is one of the main streets of this area, and it is just filled with bikes and trucks and garbage trucks and stuff going through it all hours. This is probably so far the single noisiest apartment that I've had the opportunity to experience in Japan. Mind you, some people just aren't that bothered by the noise, especially considering the fact that the rent here is unbelievably cheap at only about 40,000 yen per month. I also love how both of the windows.
Let me see. How much is 40,000 yen? $264. So that bitch is about $264
Balconies have these I can't fit through this window. Have these little cover thing. I don't know what it's for. It's not actually covered by anything, but it's wonderful. And since we're on the outside edge of Tokyo, a lot of the buildings out here are much lower, and the view is quite nice. At least it is today. And these here look like you'd be able to hang poles on them for your laundry.
Nice size kitchen. As long as I can do all that, I'm good.
I'm very stuck, but you may have also noticed that there's no toilet inside the apartment. I was actually warned, by the way, not to approach any of the residents of this building. We'll cover that in a second. And I also wanted to show you this, which is apparently a portable washing machine, which can wash up to 1 t-shirt or 3 pairs of socks, maybe 4 if you're lucky. Didn't even know stuff like that existed. Learning every day. The toilet is actually out here. We've actually got to go to the front door. Put your shoes back on,
Take my shoes off.
and then your toilet is going to be right here. Now, luckily, each floor or unit does have their own toilet space. It is not a shared toilet situation, but here's what it looks like.
Crazy
Now, the
spot
door
to put it before. They
itself
could have put the
doesn't
shower like
open
that
all the
too.
way, and this
Toilet right
This
there
is
on
your
one
toilet
level. The
space.
shower could have been on the other level. But that shit is super small. God damn. Who needs when we say that bitch like the F-phone shit.
If I were him, I'd bundle my home and auto and pick up the real victory, savings.
Are you?
That is basically the entire thing. You have a little sink on top, but standing up inside may be a challenge for some people. And let's watch the claustrophobics freak out when we close the door. That is the entire toilet space. And with limited ventilation, it does get very hot in here. It's not the kind of place that you would want to be in the depths of summer. But as for, let me get out of here, it is really warm. But as for those warnings that I got, now, I've only ever gotten a warning like this one time before, and it was when I shot a video
If you
about
living
a
by yourself and you
$100
shot
apartment here in
you can
Tokyo,
manage
and I was recommended just not
$200-something a
to
month.
approach the residents because they
Yeah.
may not be friendly, welcoming, or even want to talk. And here, I wasn't really given a reason. They were like, it's probably a good idea if you just don't approach
AC.
residents. Mind you, this building itself is actually fairly well known. The sign is kind of blocked right now, but it's called the Sankaku Biru, or
plug your
Triangle.
laptop at
It's
and
literally
turn
called the
the
Triangle
AC
Building.
on
So
and just
my
chill in
assumption
that bitch
was that
for-
they've just
for
gotten
all
too
the
much
time.
media attention
Put
because
some
it is a
bean
fairly
bags in
well-known building. But when I asked, they were like,
Chilling.
"No, that's not why. You just probably shouldn't."
ducked off from hiding,
I'm so
especially
curious.
if you, like,
What-
hiding from the
What
world
do you
or
think it
something,
could
you hiding
be?
from
Why should I
somebody?
not approach the
This is the little
residents?
spot to
Alright, I
go
actually
off
just
at.
made my way up to the 5th floor, and the door here.
Look at that, man. You got
is
5
off of
floors
its
in your
hinges,
shit, man. Come
and
on.
it seems like the apartment inside has been
do with all that
completely
space.
abandoned. I think I'm going to use a 360 and get a bit of a peek.
Oh no. If I clean it out, I'm keeping it. I'm putting a lock on that bitch, and this whole area is mine now.
That is
Take
wild,
all
and
that
it's a
shit
little bit
away.
unfortunate
Now
because
this my
this seems
area.
to be the only unit that actually has a balcony as well. That is trash.
That's a whole unit.
That's too bad.
All right.
But would you live here? Would you live in this tiny triangle apartment, weirdly shaped? People always ask me if I would. And
see,
my
if I was
first
on the
apartment in
run,
Japan
if I
was
ducked
way
off from the
smaller than all
world,
this. I
and
also
I'm just
did not
need
have
to-
a kitchen. I spent most of my time out of the house anyway, and I didn't really own anything since it was my first year in Japan. So yes, I would 100% live here. But what about you? I was leaving and looked back, and if you take a look at the plot of land that it's on, they've taken this really narrow plot of land and just squeezed a ton of real estate right into this tiny
parking spot.
little space. Like they even have their own parking space. Japan, you always impress me with how you utilize your land. That's amazing. Okay, going down these stairs feels 10 times more dangerous than going up. This does not feel
Yeah,
safe.
like I said, bringing furniture up there is out the question.
Oh, I nailed
Only
my head
furniture you
going in.
bringing is all soft beanbag shit.
Did the same thing like 6 times on the stairs. Oh my god, it got really hot in here while I
You
was
gotta
shooting
be on
it.
the
I wasn't
shoulder,
expecting
man.
it, and
Not
I'm
for a
just
tall person.
need the air conditioner now.
Like I said, I'm gonna start watching some more of these. I like little simple shit like that, nice and simple. I need to start liking people's videos. I ain't do it in all the other ones, but I'm down bad for that. I'm gonna start liking the ones that I really like and start disliking the ones that I don't like. And cause sometimes I might post some shit that I really didn't like, but it was just in my archive and I needed to get it out, so I posted it. But you know, y'all like, comment, subscribe. You like shit like
Don't
this.
do it for the bar, just do it for the bar, just do it for the bar, do it.